It's the ant hole, baby.
You already know who it is. First name Antonio, worthy of praise. Last name Gillings, God supreme. Put it together, you know what it is. I didn't name myself, my mom and them did. And we're on the Ant Hole podcast where we dig deep, trying to get all the knowledge in the world that we can get, because all the knowledge that we can get is only in part anyway. I don't care if it's 10 people or all the knowledge we bring together, we ain't gonna know everything. But guess what? With time, dedication, and with the ant hole being everywhere in the world, like ant holes are, maybe we can dig deep and maybe we can get some truth, one truth at a time, one conversation at a time. Help me dig deep on the Ant Hole podcast. Thank you very much. Like, share, and subscribe. Love y'all. Yeah.
It's the ant hole, baby.
We are live tonight. This is the Ant Hole podcast, and you already know who I am. I am Antonio Gillings. I'm your host, and tonight we have a very special guest. Y'all put y'all hands together for the infamous MEANNA. MEANNA. I love that name because it sounds like, you know, it need to be on like one of those Rihanna albums or something like that.
Will be.
You know?
Because why not?
You sing?
No, I'm just saying, like, there's no reason why it can't be on a Rihanna album.
Yeah, MEANNA. You remember that song that had, what was it? Them dudes had, you was the girl that I never had. Aisha, yeah. But it's gonna be MEANNA.
That baby said, the girl that I never had.
Hold on, don't toast yet. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna toast on the thing. You know what I'm saying? You can grab it because that was next.
I just want to make sure I'm following directions. You understand?
You was out of order, but
you brought me on back. It's okay.
I was just playing.
Just bring me on back.
I want you to make the toast.
Okay.
You got one?
You done put me on the spot, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. To a great podcast.
Okay.
To new communication, new ideas, and an open mind.
There it is.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's good.
Oh, they say you're supposed to look each other in the eye too. 7 years of bad sex.
Okay, let's do it. Nobody wants that.
No, nobody don't want that. You know.
I'm looking at whoever.
The worst sex I had was good.
Right. No, I'm not gonna even lie. I can't say that as a woman.
No, we're not good, but you know what I'm saying. Niggas finish 100% of the time.
The worst sex I had was bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for y'all.
You know.
So let's talk about that. First, before we talk about that, I want to know, who is MEANNA?
Who is MEANNA? Mm-hmm. I am a compassionate, holistic woman, authentic, capable. I'm also a mom. After those things, then I'm a mom.
Okay.
And I'm an entrepreneur. And I'm a wellness facilitator and a mindfulness coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you do a lot of things.
Sound like that, but
yeah. I mean, if you do more than one, then you know that's good.
Yeah.
They say what? I don't even know the whole quote because I realized there was a more to the quote. A master of many is more than a master of one.
That's true.
Something like
that.
True. I don't even know it no more, but I just know I got a lot of gifts and talents too. So
you do. I like to think so. I like to think that I do as well.
So mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you get into being mindful? Somebody broke your heart or something?
No. Life kind of like, kicked me in the guts. You know, I had some health issues. Well, I'll back up even a little further than that. So I'm a part of this wonderful online social club, right? Okay. And we were meeting every day on Clubhouse at 5 a.m. my time. And I would lead meditations on Wednesday mornings.
Okay.
So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I would sing, and Wednesday I would lead meditation.
You said sing?
Oh. And so it was either lead worship or, so I decided to incorporate meditation with worship. And I had never heard it before, but I knew it could be done.
Okay.
And so I just went off the cuff, went off the top of my head. And pretty soon people were tuning in on Wednesdays for the meditation.
Oh, wow.
Right? So the meditation was growing, and people started saying, oh, you got a gift. You should really look into that. And so then 2 years goes by because I didn't look into that.
Oh, yeah.
And so then life happens, and I had some really, really scary health issues last year in March. I had a few heart attacks in the same week and wound up being hospitalized. It was a tough weekend.
A few heart attacks?
A few heart attacks, guys. It's ridiculous.
That's crazy. I'm glad you're here.
Me too. Me too. All praises be to God.
For sure.
But so the bright side was the reason why the heart attacks happened were not physical. That was the bright side.
Okay.
But when you flip the coin,
it wasn't physical. What do you mean by that?
So my cardiologist, after running all of the tests, a couple of weeks later, is like, yeah, listen, your labs are great. Actually, some of your tests look better than mine.
Oh, wow.
So that lets me know your problem isn't physical. So what that tells me is that if you don't figure out how to manage stress, deal with stress, properly process the things that happen in your life, you're going to be back here in 3 months for the same thing.
That's crazy.
So it doesn't matter if you work out. It doesn't matter if you eat right. I mean, those things matter, of course. But you can do all of those things, but if you don't control your stress, you can still find yourself in a situation where you're in the hospital. And so for me, that was the biggest lesson for me. So then I had to learn how to prioritize peace. I had to. Some people, like, if you're looking at this podcast right now and you don't have to, then you can make a choice to prioritize peace, right?
That's true.
Without having to.
Right. Before calamity.
Correct.
They always say, like, before destruction.
Correct. Warning. And I believe that's what that was for me.
Yeah.
And so I started to prioritize peace. I started to really get serious about the meditations. I started a YouTube channel, Graceful Meditations, and I upload a meditation every Monday. And then it just got more serious. I started writing a book. So I wrote a book, 30 Days of Meditations, like ways to show up as the best version of yourself, the most authentic version of yourself. That'll be out first quarter of next year.
Okay.
And I created a course about mindfulness, teaching mindfulness to people in 5 minutes or less. So mindfulness in 5. I just started doing things centered around mindfulness so that it could help me change my mind as well. You don't just automatically be like, okay, I'm mindful now, yay.
Right.
Like, not if you can't meditate for 30 seconds, which most people cannot. So don't feel like something's wrong if you can't. Our minds are not programmed to be on one thing for more than like 7 to 12 seconds right now. So
that's true.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
So that kind of led me to where I am. Like I got all of this success. I feel so much better just in my mind and the way I process life. And I felt like more people in our community need to be exposed to that, because a lot of us who grew up black, we grew up thinking that meditation was white people stuff. Or hippie stuff, or
even therapy,
right? So we were almost programmed to not be receptive to those types of things. And especially if you're in a church, like, it's a few things we don't play about in the church. They don't really play about sage, they don't play about crystals, and they even kind of like this
frequencies.
If it ain't
Jesus, it don't work.
But they are okay with going to buy that olive oil out the store and calling it blessed once they pray for it. But that's a whole other thing that we're not going to talk about.
We're going to talk about that.
We don't got to talk about that.
We're going to talk about that because that's something that I've... all right, so look, I'm going to just talk the real. All right, so when COVID hit, my mind and my soul went on a journey that I cannot explain. And it's not that I have what they call a reprobated mind, like I'm going against God and I don't believe in Jesus and all the things. It's just that I saw like everything different. Like when it came to the church, I seen My pastor at the time said that I heard him say, "This is not the mark of the beast, but it got the symptoms."
I get what you're saying.
For me, why would I lead my flock down something that has the symptoms of something that's evil that's coming, if it's not the actual thing? So my burden, I think, is that I know a lot of the word. And when I look at the word, and I look at like how even the word says that even God's elect people will be deceived.
Correct.
When I look at like how many people went along with the programs, including like, you know, things that they was trying to force on the people, I just looked at everything different. Like, so when it came to the tequila shots, I wasn't so gung ho on like, let me do that for my protection. One, I don't think that we live in a world or a country where the government cares about people so much until they want like us to be healthy. If that was the case, they would really have more farms and stuff like that.
Agreed.
But my thing is like, I just looked at everything different when it came to the church, when it came to like even the interpretation of certain scriptures and words and stuff. So
I think that, so let's back up just a little bit, right? When it comes to the church, I think that there's so much that I want to say. Okay.
Me too.
Okay. I think the first thing before we even start is to change the perception of how we see the church. Okay?
Yeah.
Instead of looking at the church as this big organization and business, which it is, I'm not saying that it's not any of these things. It's better to look at the church as a building full of humans. Right. Churches are made of families, and families are made of individual people. You know how many individual people are in your family, right? Right. In your family of, let's say, 15 or 20, 7 or 8 people gonna believe different things.
Absolutely.
Right? You gonna have a few gay ones. You gonna have one that's questioning. You know, you might have somebody that's super duper conservative. Maybe 4 or 5 of them are super duper conservative. You gonna have a pedophile. You're gonna have, like, do you understand what I'm saying? Because this is a family. A church may have
all those things have yet. I don't want to say yet, but I haven't. I have yet to know all those things, different dynamics in my family.
I love that. So for me, I have a lot of conservative people in my family, not very many liberal that I know, right? Could be different, but I just don't know. I'm not even very close with my family. Churches may have 15 families like what I just described to you as a part of one whole church. That includes leadership too. We are all a part of how we were raised and the things that we were led to believe when we were children. Right. No matter how we try to slice it.
That's true.
No matter how great of a leader you are, you are your beliefs.
Right, that's true.
If you were raised to believe, like the older generation, a little more conservative, they're going to lean more conservative. Certain things they just not going to be okay with. They're not going to be okay with no LGBTQ. They're not going to be okay with no single unwed mothers. They not going to be like, they're just certain things they're not going to be okay with, right? What they will always be okay with: whoremongering fathers that leave broken homes, pastors that cheat on wives, men that sleep with underage girls, a little bit of pedophilia here and there, because we all know that big mama protect that uncle and give him the back room, and instead tell the girls how to watch themselves around him instead of removing him from the equation. We know about that. That is the same way that the church acts, because why? Churches are made of people and families. So I say that so that you can soften your gaze when you think about the church and look at it with more compassion. Because it's made up of individual people. even
sure.
in leadership, and we're supposed to know better. Sometimes if you haven't done the work on yourself, and I mean therapy and real change, most of us haven't.
Right.
We are still flawed individuals
That's
that are
true.
teaching other flawed individuals
Right.
with their own preconceived expectations.
Like hurt
And we
people hurt
lean
people in
into
a sense.
into the church to justify just being mean people. And that is because we are. And should we do that? No. But I'm just trying to help you change
Not
your
to one
lens.
another.
Not to one another, but
I think that we should be mean against certain systems that come against us. You know.
we can't do that if some black people benefit from those systems and some don't. Some church people benefit from. What happens if you're in a different tax bracket? What happened if you grew up red or you grew up blue and you benefit from you're voting in your own best interest, not the community, not the church, because again, we are a building full of families that are also broken down into individuals.
So what do you say to the family or the mother that's grown up from the child and now she's a 70-year-old woman, 70-plus-year-old woman. She's paid her taxes, her tithes into this church, but then she had hard times, but she can't get a loan from the church. You know,
what is her understanding about tithes? Like, because everybody is just based on what we know.
But that's why I sometimes I can't simply just look at the church as, oh, it's just, I see it as people and families like that. But then when I look at like, how does the church continue on? It continue on because of families and stuff.
Right.
But in the aspect of the church being there for people when they fall on hard times, I feel like
that the church should be there as a soft landing. I agree.
For sure.
But I would then have to still ask, what would be that 70-year-old woman's understanding of tithes? I'm going to say that because biblically speaking, you don't pay tithes so that when you fall on hard times, the church is there to catch you.
Well,
just based on the word. But however, you should be able to depend on the church if you pay tithes. Like, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying that biblically, the Bible says you bring the tithes in the storehouse. You bring the tithes and the offerings into the storehouse that there might be meat in my house. Right. That don't have nothing to do with you. Listen. Okay. That don't have nothing to do with you.
That's part of
the storehouse is the church, right? No. I'm sorry, not no, but the storehouse is the church, right? So bring ye all the tithes and offerings into the storehouse that there might be meat in my house. And the consequence of that is opening up a window and pouring out a blessing that you don't have room enough to receive, and rebuke the devourer for your sake. That's the scripture as it relates to tithes. It's your first fruits, right? That is your first fruit to God, right? To the storehouse. That has nothing to do with what happens to you when you fall on hard times. And I know that sounds harsh, because it is. I'm just kind of trying to speak facts, right? At the same time, since I've contributed to the meat in your house, since I've contributed and brought my tithes and offerings into the storehouse, when I need, there should be an overflow there, for me to draw from. And there have been plenty of times where that overflow has not been there.
Absolutely, especially for the masses that are in need. So
it's so tough.
So let me break down.
It's tough.
Remember, I told you a lot happened during COVID, and my mind shifted, right? So in 2017, 2018, I read that in John 10th chapter, it says that we're the God, we're God's. And then in Psalms 82:6, I believe it says, but I say that ye are the children of the Most High, ye are the gods, right? And so when I look at that scripture, bring your tithes into the storehouse so there'll be meat in thine house. I'm not saying that we're not supposed to give into the church, but we consider the physical building and the offering call God. But God is ourselves first. So I'm not talking against the church, I
don't feel like you are.
But my thing is this. I remember one time I had my tithes and I had nothing. And when I paid my tithes to the church,
You didn't have nothing.
my kids, after driving off, I looked at my gas hand, and my kids said, "Daddy, I'm hungry."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Wow, I don't have nothing to give them."
Mm-hmm.
And so when I started waking up, and the scripture told me that I'm God, I put myself first. And I'm not saying that I'm not supposed to be there for other people, because we're nothing without being
Right.
Like if you were in need, I would be there because God is in you too.
Right.
God is in us, and potentially they're saying give your tithes to the church so the church could do what we should do naturally for one another.
I'm not gonna argue with you.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
So-
I'm not arguing with you when you're right. Listen, I feel like tithes is everything. The Bible speaks about the tithes being the first fruits of our increase. That means your time. That means the way you give of yourself unto your fellow man. That means when you're bartering services, doing things for free for people.
Absolutely.
All of that you give as unto the Lord, right?
Right.
I think the church did a horrible job explaining when God shows up for you because you paid your tithes, that don't have nothing to do with the church. And then when it's tough when we look at the church as the extended arm of God for our physical need, when it don't always work like that, but it should. When you pay your tithes, it's almost like if you don't have faith that he's going to come through because you did that in supernatural ways, it's almost like, why even do it?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I'm not about to sit here and say that I've paid my tithes faithfully since I've been an adult. There's been times when I didn't, and I can tell you with certainty that the times when I was not a faithful tithe payer, and when I say tithe payer, I don't belong to a church, a physical church right now. So I tithe to where my heart leads me. Like, you understand what I'm saying? When I had not been an active tithe payer, I could tell the difference in my life.
Yeah, me
like
too. Me too.
when I am
Me
actively
too.
tithing, I promise you that my bills every month are at least $500 more than what I bring in.
Oh wow, well that's good.
And every month, some kind of way, things get taken care of.
Yeah, for sure.
And I cannot consider what I pay for my tithe, because even if I chose not to pay my tithes, it still wouldn't be enough to cover the $500 a month that I don't make.
Right.
So, like, do you understand what I mean? And so God has shown up consistently for me because of that relationship, and because I know what it's like when I wasn't doing it. So that's between me and him, and it really don't have nothing to do with the church.
What do you think it would take to not have to depend on like that extra 500 or whatever like that, but where we can start living in the overflow, like where we can have residual income, where we could have something that means something, you know?
Here's what I'm learning. Work smarter. Notice I'm not saying work harder, right? Most of us work very hard already. Most of us spend hours on what it is that we love or passionate about or whatever. But is it the smartest use of our time, right? Lean into things that you're passionate about so it doesn't feel like work, in order to get into the overflow, right? Also, I'll tell you my main mistake. I was under the assumption, I was hypnotized by the prosperity gospel.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I was hypnotized by the God can do it like that.
Right.
Turn around 3 times, run around the church, and just that quick, God done took care of it.
High five your neighbor.
High five your neighbor,
all the things.
and shout 3 times and run to the back, and then plant this seed of $100 and God's gonna turn it around in 3 days type shit. Right? There's nothing wrong with that, so long as you are pairing it with, listen, God can and he will. But I promise you, Hard work beats out talent that doesn't work hard every day of the week. You can believe God is going to come through every day. You can believe he going to do it. I believe that I can bring that $500 in. I believe that I can make enough money. I believe. Mm-hmm. But if I just sit on my ass and believe every day, what good is believing going to do?
Right.
Faith is a verb, my nigga.
That's for
you
sure.
can't sit on your ass and say you have faith.
Yep.
So, what I really had to do was check myself and my disciplines and my daily habits. What was I doing that I could change, that could change the outcome of my income, right? Mm-hmm. So, I am in the process of changing my work ethic. Mm-hmm. I wake up, everybody know I wake up at 4. That's just my time, right?
Okay.
I'll jump on the computer at 5 a.m. I may not get off until 3 or 4 p.m. I feel like I have to play catch up from all of the time.
Again? You get on at what?
About 5 a.m. And I get off about 3 or 4 p.m.
Oh,
There's people that could testify, my kids, you know.
You work remote or something?
No, I'm working on my own self, my brand. Oh, because I got laid off before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And even though I got laid off before Thanksgiving, God has still shown up for my kids, for me, for my bills. I may not have the things that I want, but all of my needs are taken care of, regardless of not having no income, right? So, anywho, I'm on the computer all day because I feel like I have to play catch up from all of the times that I was waiting for God to come through.
Without action,
without the proper action. I can wait, I can yell, he gonna do it, God is amazing, he's this, he's that, and he is.
Yeah.
What are you doing though with it? What are you doing with the talent? Mm-hmm. Oh, you want a business? Everybody want a business. Have you taken care of the stuff that nobody like to do? Where's your business plan? Where's your business structure? Right. Have you done a SWOT analysis on your business? Mm-hmm. Who's your competition? What's your 5-year plan?
Yeah.
If you sitting there like this, you don't really want a business. You want to be famous and make some money. Right. Which is okay too. Right. But know the difference. Don't tell me you want to be a business owner. Tell me you want a side hustle. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Right. They just require 2 different levels of work ethic.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
And belief in yourself, because you're going to get more no's than yeses when you are running your business and nobody want to give you the game. Yeah. Yeah. So what you gonna do when you don't have $1,000 to hire a consultant for your podcast? Right. When you gotta just figure it out yourself.
You gotta do that work yourself.
You gotta get on YouTube University.
Never
and watch
thought that
videos.
I have to learn editing and light. Well, I kind of knew lights from theater and stuff like that, but editing and sound and all the things, man.
But you're doing it because you have to, right?
I have to.
Because in any other time, you'd be able to hire somebody for all of that if the finances was there. Mm-hmm. But you don't. You got to figure it out, and you doing it. And that is the work that it takes to be successful. Like, you don't want to do the editing, but you're doing it. Yeah, that's it's somebody true. Else that just that's they not recording the video because they don't want to do the editing. Yeah. That's already putting you one step ahead of the next person that's not even willing to try.
That's true.
That's how somebody that loves God and believes in all of his principles can get passed over time after time after time by somebody that don't even know God. Mm-hmm. Because see, his principles are going to remain and his word can't come back void. So if they're doing the work. Right. Yeah. And if you're not doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Now you mad at God. Or you mad at the church because you've been believing the prosperity God. No, you haven't figured out that it's your fault yet. You still believe it's the prosperity gospel preacher's fault.
My God!
You still believe it's up. Well, keep in mind if you're a talented person that doesn't work hard, you're not the problem because you're talented.
Well, you're not the problem until your talent didn't get you in that door that you wanted.
Well, you are the problem, but you just don't believe you're the problem because you're talented.
But I think that everybody that's talented, that doesn't do the work, that door gonna be closed more than it opens.
Facts.
And when you look back in retrospect, you're gonna realize like, dang, I should have been more prepared.
It take a certain level of growth to look back and realize that you did something wrong. You gotta actually you gotta be open to criticism. You gotta be open to being wrong. You gotta be open to, like, anytime I present somebody with something, I'm interested in your thoughts on this. Any corrective criticism, I love it. Like, I want to be better.
Me too.
So tell me what's wrong. Tell me.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know? So,
like, even with my comedy, like, as on and off as it is, sometimes I'll be like, golly, I still need to hear what I didn't do right. I still need to hear where I need to go get better at. And then even with this too, like, I've been wanting more feedback. Like, even like I always leave my comment section open on the podcast, so that therefore, like, if anybody got anything to say, whether it's positive or positive, I don't really do negative, but I do constructive criticism, you know. But I
think
want to hear it all.
constructive and negative are very different.
Yeah, for sure.
It's even a way to tell me that you didn't like what I said and that you don't like my podcast.
Right.
Without being negative. You can tell me, like, that's cool. I appreciate your feedback. That's what's up.
Right.
It's cool.
But when it's negative, I feel like, you know, sometimes that Gemini be like, hey, I'm gonna get back at you, but reel that back in.
I mean, I remember when I used to, you know, put my workouts up, you know, on my YouTube page and stuff, and I specialize in seated workouts. So all of my workouts take place in every workout take place in the chair. So it's more like inclusive fitness. So if you don't have use of your legs, or if you are overweight, you got bad knees, whatever, you can still work out. Man, you'd be surprised how many people on the internet will still talk shit about you, even though you are doing a workout, doing something.
You can do something. And that's why it's good for you to stay in your lane and don't give a damn about what other people say.
Yes.
What other people think of us
really is none of my business.
Is none of our business.
Cause why? Cause why? You know, why would it be like?
I think because it's so many really insecure people. To, like, you know, hurt people.
They do.
So, like, if I'm insecure about something, I gotta come at you because of my insecurity. Like, kind of like racist.
Yes,
racist people.
Absolutely.
Racist people, I believe, really got a true love for what they can't be and can't do.
It's like an admiration.
Yeah.
Or like a sense of longing for something that they'll never have, a club that they want to be a part of.
Right. Because I'm sure if they could dance, you know what I'm saying?
But they don't want to be a black person not on no day. But if they could have the benefits of it,
right,
they'd love it.
Yeah, absolutely. That they don't never want to be a real black person.
Nope.
But they want to dance, sing, do the nasty, reproduce, be out in the sun, all the things. Okay.
Absolutely.
Maybe I'm going too far.
No, but I'm just saying. Yeah.
So. Anyway, man, I hope it all ends one day. But I think in order for all that shit to end, we got to take our shit back. Cause reparations, people been talking about reparations for the longest, and if it's anybody on earth that is due reparations, it's us. And yeah, let's get into it. I see you wheels spinning.
So here's the thing. It's not that I'm not for all of this. I am, right? I would love to know how we get to a place where we're just not fighting each other, so that we can fight the common enemy, right? And I'm not even speaking about things like gun violence in Chicago or black on black crime. No, fuck that. That's the stuff that they want you to believe it's a problem. It's a problem. But I mean, they want you to believe that's the leading problem. We can't come together on a cohesive thought as a black community. We can't come together.
What do you mean by that?
We're against each other on just about everything. Conservatives versus liberals. You got, we can't come together to fight white people.
I don't think that, I think the mass majority of our people are neither conservative or liberal. I think that we're a little bit of both.
Let me tell you something. The mass majority of black people are conservative by nature. They are Bible Belt black people.
But liberal because you can't tell us nothing. You know
not liberal though, because they look at liberals like pride flags and shit. That's not, they not with that shit. Like, not they, but by and large, the black community is we have conservative principles. We believe in picking yourself up by your bootstraps and making it happen for yourself.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We believe in some of those core conservative things. Like, we decide what goes on in our family. Don't tell nobody what goes on outside this house. Those are all very conservative principles.
For sure.
Also the bad stuff that comes with conservatism.
Right,
we
yeah,
embody that
sure.
too. Mm-hmm. But we vote Democrat most times because of our socioeconomic status, because we don't have enough money in our schools, because our hospitals are not funded, there's not enough money in Medicare, prescriptions cost too much money, and we know that the pay disparaging, the gap between black and white pay is a thing for us. Mm-hmm. So we vote based on the way we live.
Right.
But all of them niggas in the South voted for Trump. They voted for him knowing he was going to do all of the things he was going to do simply because Kamala supports abortion. And a core Christian principle is, they are, I don't even call them pro-lifers because they're not, but they're anti-abortionists, right? Mm-hmm. So you are against her because she's okay with a woman's right to choose, but you are for Trump knowing he is an out loud bigoted, racist, Islamophobic. He is a bad businessman with tons of failed businesses, drove our economy into the ground the first time. Mm-hmm. He said all kinds of racist shit. None of that is a bridge too far for you, but because she supports a woman's right to choose, all of them niggas in the South ran to the polls and voted for Trump because we voted against our own interests. How are we going to come together?
Well, to be honest, to be totally honest on how I feel, I think that either way it would have been against our own interests. Because
But they are more.
Because I am with all the things concerning light and love, right? But when I look at like a woman's right to choose, I'm not against, like, if something happens to this woman violently and she's raped or anything like that, she can get rid of that child or whatever. But I'm talking about like potentially voting for Kamala Harris with what you're saying, because I did vote for Kamala, by that way. But with what you're saying is that a woman has a right to lay down with a guy willingly, and then when she gets pregnant, say, I don't want this, and go terminate that child. I feel like if responsible adults are responsible enough to have sex, unprotected, whatever, if life comes from that, it's supposed to happen. And for anybody, not just a woman taking that life, because like many men that push women downstairs. I'm just joking.
No, they do. It happens.
You know what I'm saying? But things have happened to where like men have done things to women, and women, life has not been conceived because of the idea of like, oh, well, we are responsible enough to lay with each other, but we're not responsible enough to bring this life forth. Because of what? Majority financial. Then after that, it's, I don't really know who you are, and your family. So when I think about like both options to vote for this term, it was a lose-lose for natural humans.
So I definitely am going to push back.
Okay.
Respectfully, though, of course.
Yeah.
I think that it's very easy for someone who doesn't have to bear any of the consequences for what we're talking about to say what he don't feel like a woman should be doing with her body.
What do you mean? Say that.
You don't bear the consequences of anything. Men don't have children. Women have children. And if men decide...
I beg to differ.
Let me finish. And if men decide that they want to be in their children's life, then they're in their children's life and they raise their children.
Yeah.
If men decide that they don't want to fucking be there, guess what? They are never there. They have a choice.
Yeah.
You always have a choice. But somehow you have a problem with a woman having the same choice. That is a problem for me. Also, it's cool that you have an opinion, but so why do you feel like you can even have an opinion on what a woman, specifically one who you may not ever even meet, why do you feel like you should even have an opinion on what she gets to do with her body? Hold on. You don't know any of these women that you are casting a vote to change their whole lives. You will never carry a baby. You will never know what it feels like to go through labor. You will never know what it's like to be a single mom. And a single mom is a single mom if she's not married. She's a single mom if she's not married. She is not doing it alone. She is not a woman that's raising a kid all by herself. Like, no, but she's a single mother if the father of the child is not in the home. So if you know you're not going to choose to be in that home raising that kid, which means she's going to bear all of the burden raising that kid. You're going to get that kid 2 weekends a month and think you really doing something to help raise a child. And you aren't. You're not bearing any finance. Let me tell you something. Here's something else. This is just since we on the topic. How much is a 1-bedroom in Los Angeles right now, or Inglewood, since that's what we are?
I know how much a 2 is.
How much is a 2-bedroom?
$2,600.
So
at
a
least.
1-bedroom probably is maybe like $2,100,
right,
or $2,200, right? So if a woman is single, she can get herself a 1-bedroom. That woman got a baby or 2 by a man that decided to leave, she got to get a 2-bedroom. So now her bills went from $2,100 to $2,600. He is going to complain about that $200 or $300 in child support that the court is going to make him pay when it don't even cover the cost of going from a 1-bedroom to a 2-bedroom where his children are going to lay their heads.
And the children are going to need more than that.
And he will complain about her getting her nails done or her hair done. And I'm not saying every man, we're just talking in general, of course. I don't believe every man behaves this way. But most men feel like their child support, not most men, a lot of men online feel as if their child support is being taken and being used by the mother of the children to like do all of these wild things. And I'm not saying that never happens. There are definitely some men that get taken advantage of. But if you paying $400 or less for child support, I promise you, you are literally only helping provide a roof over your child's head. You are not providing food. You are not providing clothes. You are not providing anything else other than that roof. And thank you for being a parent and providing a roof. But what else you got? Okay. And see, those are the things that men don't think about when they laying up with no protection.
A lot of times, that's the narrative of what it is in our communities.
We only talking about us.
No. Yeah, right. If there's a separation, and the woman has to upgrade because of the children, per se. That man also has to either downgrade or upgrade as well.
Right.
So therefore, the disparity of finances are not there to facilitate one household where all the finances together would have been there.
That's true, but men never think about that.
So a lot of times women don't think about it either.
But we gonna have to deal with it regardless, and we don't get to complain about it like y'all.
And men have to deal with it also.
No, you have a choice.
Well, men that want to be in their children's lives.
Yes,
there's
a difference.
And so when you say that men, we don't have to have children, we give children. Y'all give y'all kids away. Y'all have them.
Y'all give y'all kids away willingly and with reckless abandon.
Some men.
Some.
For sure. But what I'm talking about is men that lay with these women, and these women say, okay, you can
shoot up the club.
Steph Curry from the 3.
Let me ask you a question before you go on. So she say you can shoot up the club.
Okay.
why would he shoot up the club just because she told him he could? Because we talking about mature two consenting adults, right?
Right.
So she say
mature consenting. Okay.
Yeah, unless we aren't. I don't know. Okay, let's just talk about two people, two adults, right?
Okay.
She say you could shoot up the club. Dumbass statement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why would he shoot up the club just because she told him he could? She didn't say shoot up the club, and even if she did, why would he do it just because she said so, knowing that he could have a baby with her and he don't even know her last name?
Well, when you talk about shooting up the club and you don't know her last name, that's super irresponsible.
Happens a lot, but I'm just saying
it does. And when that happens a lot, then you have more chances of a woman saying, "Hey, well, this is my body, my right," versus being two adults. Like when women start having standards of like, I'm not laying with you until you know my father. I'm not laying with you until you know my family. Until we know each other. Until you know my last name.
Right.
Now when you got those type of standards, then you attract a better.
I gotta push back.
Why?
Why don't men have those type of standards?
I'm not saying that we don't.
Because here's the thing. We always have a conversation that revolves around women having standards, women keeping their legs closed, women saying this, women saying that. We have 1,000 books on how women shouldn't get raped, how women should be good wives, but we don't have no books on how niggas don't rape. Why you not teaching your son just don't rape? Why you not teaching your son just to be a good... Hold on. Why you not teaching your son just to be a good guy? Why you not teaching your son don't sleep with a woman until you know her last name? Don't sleep with a woman until you know her father. We don't never have those conversations.
I'm a barber.
We only talk about
these conversations
women
often with even young men that I don't even know.
But the responsibility is all I'm saying, like societally.
Right.
The responsibility is always put on women, right? But it's like men have no accountability. They don't. First of all, they don't even value their seed. You don't value your penis. Anybody could get it. Y'all niggas is easy, right? So then you give your dick to anybody.
I don't think it's so much that we're easy versus our natural inclination to reproduce ourselves.
I don't agree with that. It's plenty of disciplined men.
Which kind of confirms the fact that you say we're easy. I think that naturally in most men... You need help, babe? Okay. I think naturally in most men... Okay. In most men... Okay. I just be trying to figure out how to work the camera. Yeah? All you had to do is say yes.
He already knew.
Huh?
It's taking the battery, but it kept saying fix shutter or something. Oh.
Okay, that's it. And then you press this right here, and then you press record. So this is I thought so. Okay.
I'm recording from my phone, so
All good. We got the sound footage, and I always like if it's technical difficulties.
B-roll is always a thing, baby. B-roll is
Absolutely.
a thing. Yeah.
So what was I saying?
You were saying like we were talking about the standards, how the standards are always really put on the women. Only women have to have standards. Like it's like men really do.
We gotta have standards too. So like one of the things that I've always thought outside the box. I've always been a man that's different from most men because I have sensitivities and insecurities that I don't think most men are really trying to care about and love like black women the way that I love black women.
It's not popular right now.
Nah,
it's becoming more popular. It's becoming more popular to love black women out loud.
I believe so.
But you're right about that.
But I think that when I talk to some of these young guys, like nobody told me when I was growing up that how girls are taught at a very young age, y'all keep yourselves, put a diamond between y'all knees, and just be pure. Nobody tells boys to do that. Exactly. Nobody tells little boys that you are the prize. That you are you are God's gift to the world. Like if
It's true what he said. Okay, go ahead.
5 women sleep with 5 men, they can only get pregnant
5 times.
one time.
But I'm saying like, let's say
one time for a woman.
Yes, one time.
Probably
one
like the majority of the year. But
Yeah.
if 5 women sleep with 1 man, he has 5 families.
Yeah.
So until we get to like I know people talk about gender roles and everything. Until we get back to women are the nurturers and the developers of families, men are the creators of it.
I think that's true if you want to be in a traditional family setting. I believe that that is true for you if that's what you think family is. I think when you say things like we need to get back to a time when, even during that time when you thought that there was traditional family roles, there were same-sex families, there were trans families, there were single dad families.
I don't know about so much. Maybe like few and far between.
Why would you think that? Just because it wasn't shown on TV or written about?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that it wasn't.
No, what I'm saying is these families have always existed because gays and trans people have always existed. They've been around since the day before forever. So if they've been around since the day before forever, then that means that they've had families since the day before forever. So just because they've had no representation doesn't mean that it hasn't existed. People think that gay people just started existing because why? They're getting more representation on TV. And now you find people that are irritated like, oh, it's an agenda. Why? Because they can see themselves on TV now, just like you can see yourself on TV now, just like somebody else can see themselves on TV now. Like, you are a traditional man, it sounds like, and you like traditional things, and I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
But I think that it is not the only way that people choose to live their lives.
For sure.
You feel like it is the best way to live life because that has been your experience. And I love that. There are other people though who that has not been their experience. That is not the best way to live life for them, right?
I think the best way for anyone, whether straight, gay, all the alphabets and all the things, is to be authentic to who you are. Because I heard something, I think Dick Gregory said, that we were born into this world clean, and to get back to God, we have to appear to Him clean.
That's true. I feel like
in other words, like if your mom told you as a child, you're clean right now, you go outside this house, you get dirty, don't come back in this house dirty. She didn't say you couldn't come back in this house. She said don't come back in here dirty.
Right.
So when you get back to the door and you're dirty, she gonna be like, stop at the door, you can't come in here, right? So at the end of the day, regardless of who you are, you got to get back to God clean.
I agree.
So all the things that we try to gain and obtain in this life, when we get back to God, we're going to have to drop them off right here.
So let me ask you about this though. This is what you believe because this is who you are. What about the people that don't believe in God? Like, are you just not talking to them, or are you telling them that what they're doing is wrong? And I'm not being combative. I'm just saying, like, because we want this podcast to reach everybody. We want everybody to feel, or maybe we don't, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but
no, for sure.
So there are going to be people who do not believe that you got to get back to God clean. There are going to be people who do not believe that the only way is, so part of our issue in our culture is that the people who are traditional believe they have a stronghold on the culture, and that the culture needs to do what they feel like
the tradition call for, right? For
but
sure.
There have been, you can research plenty of gay families going all the way back before the 1900s, and they had community and family, but no representation, right? So to say it needs to go back to this, or this is new, it's not new. You are newly seeing it represented in the public eye, but it isn't new. And I want to circle back on something else you said before I before I forget.
Go ahead.
You said, I think that the woman needs to be the nurturer and the man needs to be the head.
Mm-hmm.
Separate from male, female, I think it's unfair to put all of the heavy lifting on one person. To assign someone as the nurturer because you assume that women are supposed to do all of that heavy lifting is unfair and burdensome. And that is why your traditional marriages that you think were the best did not work. Our grandma, we say, our grandma stayed around and they made it work. No, your grandma couldn't get a job and she couldn't have a checking account. She
Right.
had to stay there. She
Right.
wasn't choosing to stay.
The structure was totally different.
She wasn't choosing to stay with your granddaddy. Your granddaddy was an asshole, but she couldn't go and do shit else for herself or her
For sure,
family.
for sure.
So he knew he could be an asshole and she would still be there. So
For
I hate
sure.
it when people say,
For
"Can't
sure.
we go
That's
back
true.
to
That's true.
to
That's
traditional
true.
family?" No, we don't want to go back to that because really, your grandmama just got emotionally abused time after time after time and couldn't get out of it. And a lot of y'all men want to go back to women couldn't complain and they was just being traditional, being around the house, not complaining, and y'all could still act an ass but not have to face no consequences for it. And we ain't going because why? We earn more money than y'all. We can do things for ourselves, and we want there to be partnerships with, there's a head of every household.
Right.
I'm not saying that, but we both nurture. Cause see, if mom is the only one nurturing them kids, then you raise sons that don't have no idea of what nurture looks like from a father to a son. Because the fathers, they not on that part. That's the mama job. The father go out and earn the money and bring the money home.
Nurture the son.
Traditional fathers did not nurture sons. Fathers back in the day, I'm not talking about right now, they did not nurture sons by and large, but there are some that were different, of course. And guess who were the ones that were loving and nurturing?
It's kind of tough to hear that because back in the days, like, children were born to help with the work.
Right. Agreed.
Not of the head of the house, but of the slave masters or the who was in control. Mm-hmm. Like, so it's kind of tough hearing like, oh well, like even back then, like, like we have no kingdoms.
So that's true back then. So tell me what the excuse is now.
Even to this day.
So tell me what the excuse is. Tell me what the excuse is now for a man that doesn't choose to nurture his son and who says that that's a woman's responsibility and role.
Any man that says it's not his responsibility to nurture his not just son but his children is a fool.
But most men will nurture their daughters. Most men will treat their come here, baby, that's daddy's girl. Most girls are daddy's girls,
Well, maybe like I said, I'm
and
different.
Mama's boys, right?
I'm
so
different.
You got your mama, she'll baby her son, and maybe not be as close to her daughter, but she's gonna baby that son, and she's gonna always protect that son. And
that's true.
We have mamas now that at least they're teaching their sons how to wash their own clothes and cook their own food, because back in the day, boys were just allowed to be stupid. And I'm gonna explain what I mean when I say that. Girls were pretty much given a baby doll, a kitchen set, and a stroller from the time that they're like 2 or 3 years old. They're being taught that their life is servitude to another person from the time they are 2 or 3 years old. Because why? They got to change that baby. They got to watch that baby. They got to push that baby around.
And
they got to cook in that kitchen. Hold on. What are boys doing? They getting train sets, car sets. They are not learning anything. They going outside. They eat mud pies.
But yet the men and the boys and the men are responsible for all of the providing.
Oh, I got something for you. Don't even worry about that. Let's talk about it. Most of the reason why these dumbass boys got these jobs is because when they went to college, their father was over this particular thing, so they had something waiting for them on the way out, babe.
Who?
Most of these
our
boys,
communities?
if we went to college, we networked. We created community.
Yeah, but what kind of okay, so let's just put it in
if we're talking about our community, we're not taking care of no households. So what are we even talking about right now? Tell me, are you saying that most...
So I'm from the South.
Most two-parent households, black, right now, are ran financially or paid... when I say ran, I mean financially paid for by the man? That's what you're saying?
Nowadays?
Nowadays, we talking about right now.
No, nowadays, women make substantially more money than black men.
Correct.
Black women make more money than black men.
Yes.
I believe.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Which is why I always go back to say, like, when it comes to men being in people's lives, whether it's the wife, the kids, or everything, we're responsible for. You got to provide. You got to do this. You got to do that.
Okay, yes, you are right. I'm not arguing with you with what you're saying. I'm just saying what you're saying is best case scenario. That's what you're saying. What I'm telling you is, from the time these kids are tots, the girls are being taught to be sufficient, cook, clean, take care of themselves, and take care of y'all, because we're learning how to. We got the baby alive dolls.
That's hopeful and speculative, but not. It is, but not in.
But I'm speaking in generalities, right? For the community at large.
When we talk general, sometimes my thing is like it gets personal.
It can't get personal because these are not,
from my personal experience. Yeah.
But it can't be. It got to be like from a cultural, personal cultural personal experience, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about like at large, men are allowed, boys are raised where the mamas do most of the stuff or the grandmas do most of the stuff. They wash their clothes, they cook their meals, they don't clean.
I know an instance where it's a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old girl that I know. They can't even cook.
There's some outliers. Oh, there's a lot of people that can't cook. I blame society for that, not necessarily their parents.
Well, I'm sure they can wash clothes because the machine washes
maybe,
but you know.
But what I'm saying is, girls are being taught service and servitude and sufficiency. Boys are being given cars and trains and video games. Okay. So they know, maybe they take an interest in programming. Maybe they take an interest in, I don't know. But boys are not being taught any skills that would teach them to be suitable partners in life. Girls are being taught from a baby skills to make them suitable partners in life.
Partners in life because we play sports.
Okay. And athletes are not suitable partners in life.
We know teamwork very well.
We don't know being suitable partners in life very well.
Being a team player says that I know how to be, because when you're a team player, there are certain roles that you play, and there's certain roles that I play to make the overall last name work.
Absolutely.
Per se.
Absolutely.
Because let's be real. If I'm going to be with a person, let me not generalize, but if any man or woman are going to be together, let's say that they're doing it for the sake of a last name.
Okay.
And that last name is the team. Okay. So therefore, if we're on a team, me and you,
everything is for the team.
Me and you get married to the anthole. This is my last name, the anthole.
Yeah.
Now, when we get together, I would expect or teach you how to do certain roles for this to be successful.
Right.
Now, I already have the vision. I give it to you, and once you do the vision, then we have a complete vision. But what happens when you say, I'm not going to do my part? And I say, okay, well, we got to do it for our last name. See, I think the problem is that majority of the people that are getting together these days, they're not doing it for quote unquote traditional marriage, or they're not doing it for the long haul of really being a union.
We haven't seen no benefits of traditional marriage in a long time. We've seen plenty of benefits of, and I'm talking about, when I say a trad marriage, I'm not talking about just man and wife. I'm talking traditional marriage, period. Besides it being a business, and besides you combining assets or whatever, tell me what the benefits are of the traditional marriage. I'm talking in theory, tell me what the benefits are, because it really take longer to get out of it than it does to get in it. If you get out of it, right? And I don't see. Tell me what you perceive, and I'm not saying that there are no benefits.
I was about to ask you the question.
I'm not saying that they are or there aren't. I'm just
because
asking.
I was married for over 20 years.
Well, my first marriage was amazing. I saw the benefits.
And so now I'm looking at like marriage as like it has to, marriage has to be about teamwork.
Agree.
It got to be about a higher call than yourself.
It got to be about picking the right person. It got to be about picking the right person.
Absolutely. But in order to pick the right person, so let's take me per se. Mm-hmm. I got 20 women lined up. Mm-hmm. Am I going to interview all of them?
No, I think dating is a lost art. And I think personally that there's nothing wrong with if you are single and casually dating 10 women. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying this is law. Mm-hmm. MIANNA's opinion is date all of them. As long as you're not sleeping with all of them, there's time to get to know 10 women.
So let's talk about that.
Okay.
Like a lot of times, sleeping with women is the determining factor if you
want to date them.
No, not if you want to date them, but if it's a sustaining relationship to a man.
I agree with that.
So when you talk about like, say if I had all those 10 women and I slept with none of them, then
nobody really stuck out to you. So when I date 10 women,
so why you say that though?
So when I say date 10 women, as long as you're not sleeping with all 10 of them, this is what I mean.
I'm saying like,
let me tell you what I mean. I mean, you're dating 10 women, right?
Okay.
Eventually, a few of them are going to fall off because that first 1 or 2 dates, you was kind of like, I'm not really feeling her. Boom, 2 or 3 of them fell off. It's only 7 left. You are still dating. Maybe you are feeling a spark with one of them and you decide that you're going to have sex with her. That don't mean that you got to stop dating the other women, but she do need to know you still dating other women, but that's not a part of this conversation, right? So you continue to date, another 2 fall off because y'all just not really, maybe you sleep with another one. Like, that's what I mean. I don't mean like you're sleeping with 10 women. I mean, wouldn't you at least like to get to know a woman enough to know whether you want to smash her or not? Like, wouldn't you want to at least let a few women fall off from the 10 before you start having sex? Most people don't. They just start having sex.
Most men don't, most men, well, I can't speak for most men, but, You can say it seems as if. A lot of times, men, if we get in the right vibe, if we like the way you look, if we like all the things, then 9 times out of 10 we'll sleep with you.
Right. And to me,
and a lot of times when you think about it, it's kind of shallow because we don't need to. Sometimes it feels like we don't need to know all the things.
I was just about to say, the same men that sleep with women that they don't know wind up being the same men complaining about a baby mama. They are generally the same men. You slept with this girl and all you knew was her Instagram name, but you still slept with her. And
I hope not.
But do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, or you met her in the club that night and the vibes is vibes.
And you gonna
and
go
you
raw?
Smashed her.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it didn't happen. I'm sure. I done had, some time.
So a lot of times the same men that complain again, they don't want to accept no accountability for their lack of discipline, their lack of awareness. Because listen, this woman gotta accept the same accountability. Lack of discipline, lack of awareness.
Because if I met you at the club and you allow me to go in you raw, like that,
you see how you are positioning the conversation as horrible. You see, okay, listen.
I'm only doing the same thing that you're doing.
Listen, no. I'm saying, but I'm giving both sides. I'm saying just like her. No, your position is if you allow me to go and you raw as if she can't.
I was concurring to your.
I just want you to understand your positioning of the situation.
Irresponsibility.
But do you understand how you're positioning the situation though?
No, I'm positioning it where my heart is positioning as both parties need to be responsible. Like if a man meets a woman at a club, she need to have if she has no standards and say, hey, come on, let's go, raw. Mm-hmm. Then that's irresponsibility.
Right.
If a dude says, hey, I like you, what's up, and he goes in there raw, it's irresponsibility.
It
so
is.
that's the only point that I'm saying.
So
like,
while I agree with you, I just want you to understand that, because it's subtle, it's little subtle things like what I'm gonna point out is what society has done to women for generations. We are talking about two people, right, that are making a irresponsible decision. And my statement is, if then he's unaccountable, and if then she's unaccountable, or whatever, right?
Okay.
Your statement is, not just this time, but throughout the conversation, when talking about men and women, your statement has really put almost all of the accountability on the woman. It is a natural thing that men do, because that is what this society has taught us, all of us. I'm not blaming you.
No.
Our society has taught all of us to say, well, why was she let? Or why can't she keep her legs closed?
Absolutely.
As if...
Because I have a conversation with my friend all the time, and she says, we control sex for the most part. Women control sex for the most part, because men, it's like fishing.
Why do you let them?
What you mean?
Women don't control shit that you don't let them control.
So a lot of times it's what I was
easy
saying,
to say that.
What I was saying, it goes back to men. When we hold ourselves sexually responsible and we don't sleep with everybody who want us because we need validation, or we need something that says, oh, we the man, we can put it down or whatever like that, we gain our power back. And so
yes, that's true.
This is for all the men. I encourage us to put our dicks up.
Or manage them.
No.
Just manage them.
Put our dicks up. Yeah, well, that's management.
Manage them. You
That's
don't
management.
always got to put it up.
So let me tell you something. Put your dicks up for a while. Because that is going to manage who's really for you. And I think that if we're able to put our flesh aside for a little bit and seek the things that truly are for our entire being, it'll weed out who's not for us, and it'll be shown who we're supposed to be with, where we're supposed to go, what we're supposed to do, fresh ideas and all that. So
I totally agree with that.
I'm with the man having full responsibility of like his own body, because listen, like 2 scriptures I read recently that took me for a loop. In Romans it says our bodies is the only temple. It's the temple of God, and it's the only place that God can live within our being right now, right? The second was Matthew 5 and I think 48. It says, be ye perfect, for your Father in heaven is perfect. Now, that's been kind of fighting me for the last couple weeks, because we taught that, we born into this world of sin and we're going to sin, we're going to do this. But when I read that, it took me on a different journey, because
perfection is a journey.
I've wondered, like, what is perfection?
It's a journey.
Even at this stage of me messing up, I've messed up a lot. Right. So how can I find perfection right now? That's why I depend on Jesus Christ, because I do believe in His blood.
Is it okay? So let me understand if it's the same one. Is it be ye holy, for God is holy, or is it another one?
It says be perfect, for your Father in heaven is perfect.
I love that. I think perfection is a goal. I think perfection is a journey, and it's something that we always are. But then the Bible will then say that nobody is perfect.
That's what. Like, I say I always have different interpretation of scripture and things now, but perfect is without blemish.
Right.
And if there is a way that I can be perfect, then I think that we're off, because we as men and mankind have lost the way on how to be perfect. Because the number one thing that we're supposed to be doing at this stage in life and humanity is we're supposed to make this earth mirror what heavens look like.
I agree with that. I just feel like we have to be very careful with if that's what we believe.
What's
we
the
do if
in
that's
reading,
what we believe,
and studying and
no, I'm saying
and doing
if
the
we're
things
Christians,
if we're not going to believe.
If we're Christian and that's what we believe, but there are people who don't believe that, and we do still have to share this earth with them. So we have to figure out another way, because bullying with the Bible ain't gonna work. Like, bullying by saying this is what bullying. I'm not saying I'm saying
I'm
like,
talking about individually. I don't think we should bully nobody. I think that if each individual know that they can be perfect somehow, some way, and perfect is the goal, like you said, it's a journey, right? Then individually, my rightful living within myself, and it is going to be displayed if it's true on the inside. Because everything, what it say? What's I forgot the saying, but it's like, baby, don't you laugh.
It's okay.
What's within is without, and what's without is within, something like that.
Yeah.
Like
anything, whatever's in you gonna come on out.
That
yes.
part.
Okay, I got you. I do want to circle back to one other thing you said, because I don't know why it keeps nagging at me.
What?
Whomever told you, the woman that you was like, women control sex, I gotta circle back to that.
Okay.
That is society's way of absolving men of accountability of their own bodies. Nobody controls you. Nobody controls sex. Nobody controls your body parts. Nobody controls anything. Nobody.
That's true.
She don't control the mood. You control the mood.
That's true.
She don't control nothing.
It's kind of like what Adam and Eve did.
Right.
You know, Adam went to God, was like,
hey,
God, she told me to do.
But see, Eve ate the apple and nothing happened. See, that's why we have to always put accountability where it belongs. Eve ate the apple and nothing happened. Nothing happened till Adam ate that apple. Am I right?
Right.
We got to stop talking about Eve, because she ain't the problem. Adam is the problem, because he ate the apple. God didn't tell Eve. He
listened to her.
That was his problem.
Yeah.
So he got to be accountable.
He didn't listen to God
for doing something that he knew he wasn't supposed to do for some pussy, right? That was the first time that some pussy came between a man and his goals.
Ooh.
So that he allowed it to happen. So
stop right there.
I'm just saying.
Let me drink the rest of this. Tip over my cup on that one.
I'm just saying. Nothing happened when Eve ate that shit, because she wasn't the head. God told Adam,
what?
The day that you eat of this tree, you will surely die. That's what he said to Adam.
Yeah.
Eve came to him like, yo, babe, I just taste that fruit, and let me tell you something, that shit was sweet, let me tell you.
And what Adam should have did,
he should have said,
was like,
God said, you heard God say,
what?
I'm not eating that shit.
I'm not eating that shit.
Eve, you will surely die, because God said, but Adam didn't have to. Adam was the head.
Yeah.
And then when God called him out on it, because he is the one that got the instruction from God. So when God called him out on it, what did Adam do instead of being responsible? What did he do?
Put the blame on her.
God, it's this bitch. You told me to marry this bitch. I married her. Now look at us. Now it's God's fault.
Time out. Let me.
He said he was lonely. So God is like, all right, boom. Let me send you somebody I know she's going to be thick in the waist, cute in the face.
Father, please don't let me be sidetracked by the punani. Now, for real though, I ain't playing with it, but like, so many men has lost so much because of
no control, no self-control.
No self-control.
That's it.
The fruit of the spirit, the last one is self-control.
Most important.
So it goes back to what I was saying, men. Put your dick up, have self-control, and take your time.
Because ain't nothing better than a black man.
God,
okay? I'm not here to argue with nobody. Listen, I mean, ain't nothing better than a black woman too, but we talking about black men right now, right? Ain't nothing better than a black man. A strong black man who is emotionally intelligent and self-aware, a leader, a man who is kind, not just to his family and friends, but everyone. He is kind to the servers, to the unhoused community. He is kind to the people that he don't know on the street. He's kind when he sees stray animals. Like those kinds of things. He shouldn't be none of the phobics. None of no homophobic, transphobic, none of the phobics. Like, we don't got time for that shit.
We don't.
I want a real person that is kind to other humans, because then he can raise other kind humans.
Everyone has their struggles, their downsides, and their the things that easily beset us.
Right.
And I can't point the finger at nobody because I got shit that I'm working through. You know what I'm saying? And it's easier said than done.
Yes.
Because at times I do like have a side eye to certain things that's happening. You know, when I look at like all the things that's happening in our community, when I look at like the rate of, you know, our children being born, the rate of responsible relationships that we see, the rate of like what's the images that we have versus what we should be doing right now. Like, bro, I see more BBLs and twerking on Instagram and social medias and stuff like nowadays. To this, like, I feel bad for my son that's growing up, because it's like,
everything
what
is
you gonna
sexualized.
choose? I mean, because everybody look the same. When I see the long
Instagram
weaves,
look,
I see the same
with
type
the
of
swoops,
hey,
and all of the makeup looks the same.
All of it look the
faces
same.
look the same.
The same body look the same. It's
The BBL look the same. And listen, I'm not here to shit on BBLs. Like, listen, go if that's what you feel like you need to do to feel like your most perfect self or your best self. No. Who am I? Who the fuck am I, while we're talking, to tell you what you should do for your body? I can tell you what I think looks good to my eyes, but is this my bitch? I mean, or is he my man, or am I trying to be his girl? Because honestly, whether I like the BBLs and think they're out of control or not, you know, it's really just not my business. It's really just not my job to police what someone else is doing with their body. And that is our biggest problem in our culture.
But I think that if you see a generation of people that are going to allege as a traditional thinker, and because let's be honest, God gave people certain gifts. They are seers, they are teachers, they are people that have different talents and stuff. So when you talk about people that are a seer or prophetess or whatever, then they can see certain things that are coming at, like we said earlier, before destruction there's a warning. So if there's something that's coming, you will want to be warned if it's to our demise and everything. So
in whose opinion? Based on the word of God?
I think when we talk about the word of God, a lot of times we got to look at like the engrafted word, because there's a scripture that said that there's an engrafted word within us. So
I think the question I'm asking is, you are basing this on Christianity when we don't live in a Christian country.
I'm not talking about.
We don't live in a Christian country.
I agree.
It's a freedom of religion country.
But what I'm saying is, responsibly, when you see things that are coming, that are not going to be conducive for humanity, then
what do you do?
Then you speak out on those things. I think that's what we're supposed to do.
I think if you feel like you have a responsibility to that group,
everybody is responsible for the action that they take and the action that they don't take.
Right.
You know what I mean? So a lot of times when we have an action to take, like for instance, if I know you about to go off a ledge and I don't say nothing and you go off that ledge, I'm guilty just as well as
of what? What are you guilty of?
I'm guilty because I had an opportunity to talk to you about it.
Okay, did you have a duty or did you have an opportunity? Because those two are very different.
Just say I had an opportunity.
Okay,
and it was my duty.
Then there's no guilt if it's only an opportunity.
No, I'm not saying that. A lot of times I'm not necessarily talking from the aspect of guilt. I'm talking about from the aspect of, at the end of our life, I think we all have an accountability for what we are going to have to answer to the Almighty for.
Absolutely, I agree.
So like I said, we're we are.
You feel like it's your
responsible.
job to say not job. I don't mean it like that. But you feel like you have a duty to
Say the
warn
thing.
people if they're going in a way that you think is destructive.
For sure.
Okay, so my question to you on that is,
Because
hold
go
on.
ahead.
My question on that is, who are you to them? To like, not because you don't have a right, but because most people be like, well, who the fuck are you? Why, do you know me? Do you have a stake in my
For sure,
life?
for
Do you
sure.
have a and I'm not saying that you have to, because some people live, if you feel, you don't have to know somebody to come in and give them a word. Hey, I just want to let you know, right? But
Right.
I just feel like we have to be careful. I believe that the reason why the believers, I believe the reason why the church is running up against so many issues right now is because we are too pushy. We are too forceful in a country that is a freedom of religion country.
Supposedly, yeah.
No, not supposedly. It's in the Constitution. Our country was built on the ability to believe what you want to believe, right?
We in a country that said that with the Constitution says we have a freedom of speech, but
and a freedom of religion. That is a part of
if
our freedom.
if I say the wrong thing on this podcast, guess what? They're gonna cancel me.
Right.
So
who gets to say what the wrong religion is, though?
But I'm saying we don't. You talking about the Constitution?
I'm talking about everybody based on the Constitution having the right to believe whatever they want and have whatever religion they want. Including us, we have the right?
So when you talk about the Constitution, I'm talking about the freedom of speech. We really don't have a freedom of speech.
But you do have a freedom for speech, but you don't have freedom from consequences. Everybody's
For sure.
words have power, and words mean something.
For sure.
So you have the right to say all white people are evil and they should die and they are mayonnaise-faced motherfuckers.
Okay.
You could say that in public if you want to on social media. But it won't stop your boss from firing that ass because you went against the company's morality clause of not speaking out against people. Or people they think that they don't have freedom of speech, and you do. You just don't have freedom of consequences from your words when they are offensive to other people. Right? So the problem that we have in the Christian community is, although we say we know that the country is free to believe whatever they want, we somehow want every law in this country to be based on Christian principles. We somehow want all of our laws to be based around what we think is right as Christians. Y'all say, as I'm going to say the white evangelical Christian movement, simply because black people is in it too. So let's just say the Christian movement, they say that God said being gay is wrong. And because God said that, we don't want to give y'all no rights and privileges that we giving everybody else because we think that God said it's wrong. The problem is, whether God said it's wrong or not doesn't matter, because the Constitution requires a separation of church and state and requires that your religion does not impact the laws of the country. Unfortunately, Christians feel like they know best.
So in other words, you're saying that regardless of what God's word say, the Constitution is God.
No, I'm saying that you have the freedom to be a Christian and live your life the way you want to, for you, your family, your community, because of your relationship with Him. You don't have the right to dictate how other people live their lives based on your vision, your values, your beliefs, and your religion. You can't make law for the entire country based on your beliefs. That is what I'm saying, and that is what in our country, what the conservative right-wing movement is looking to do. They're not banning abortion because God says it's wrong, because if that was the case, then they wouldn't underfund every agency that deals with foster kids and adoption. They don't give a fuck about lives.
So when you're talking about when you talk about that, women, I feel like women have already had the freedom of what they dictate with their bodies.
Roe v. Wade.
Not just that, but when you look at birth control and all the things like that. That's why I always go.
Those things are harmful for your body, though.
That's why I always revert back to men being sexually responsible with who we lay down with, because when I look at like just sleeping with a woman, you know, it calls for like us to be like super picky on like who we reproduce with, because if we just lay with any woman, then we potentially ruining our future anyway. So
I agree, but if y'all think if men go by looks first, because you know most people we have two eyes, right? So if men are driven mostly by looks, then they're not driven by the stuff that's on the inside. So they're always going to be making decisions based on their penis, because that's all they care about in the moment. It's not until you about to have a baby with this bitch that you try to figure out what she like to do on a Saturday. It's not until she's pregnant with you that you even asking her if she a Christian or not. But for some reason, y'all feel women have all of this control when you guys could have found out. But the way you make it sound is like, I can't speak for everybody, but the way you make it sound is like most dudes just out here just like, can I get some? Bam. Can I get some? Bam. If you are having sex with a woman, this is just my opinion, so it's not law. But in my mind, if you are having sex with a woman within 30 days of meeting her, you are not interested in getting to know her. You are not interested in getting to know her on any level that would allow you to know if you want to have a baby potentially with her, because you shouldn't be laying down with nobody that you wouldn't potentially want to have a baby with, because condoms break and birth control fails. So if you are laying down with somebody even with a condom knowing it could break, then you should be laying down with someone that you potentially could see yourself having a baby with. Most men do not consider that part. They are just thinking like, oh, she's cute, she got a good job, it seemed like she got a good family, she don't have no kids, she 38, she 5'6", she got a body like this, oh, I know enough. No, you have no idea who this woman is, but because you chose to procreate with her, well, not chose, but you chose to go in raw, you chose to make a decision.
I hope you guys are listening.
Have you having sex with somebody you don't know, or you've only known for a few weeks, and you think you know them well enough to lay with them, but then they are every bitch and hoe and he is every deadbeat in the book. Once y'all procreate together and realize y'all don't even like each other for real, and had y'all taken another 4 weeks or 2 weeks even to get to know each other, you'd have realized, I don't really like this bitch, I don't really like this nigga, we know that. But nobody wants to do that, but we do want to make women accountable.
To gel with each other in the bedroom.
We do, and like,
let me see what that thing working with.
The reason why I mention men a lot, and I don't want anyone to be confused or think that I feel like men are more responsible or accountable than women, because I don't believe that they should be more, but I feel like y'all should be smarter than that. Y'all should be more apprehensive.
I hope you guys are listening.
Have sex. Y'all should feel like anybody could trap me up at any time, so I'm not going to just sleep with anybody, because who is this person? She could try to, put a baby on me or something.
Right.
Men should be more apprehensive and more choosy and want to take a little more time so that they are not getting caught up. But it seems like y'all do the opposite sometimes, and then when she don't want to have an abortion, or she do, like, whatever it is, she want to do something you don't want to do, now it's her fault. Now she's, she can't believe she trapped you.
But a lot of times, the majority of this conversation has been kind of like with the idea of the man
being accountable.
No, not wanting the woman that we sleep with. A lot of times too, I would say that if a man chooses a woman to sleep with, it's something about that woman that we want. You know? And so I'm not gonna say that every man is just not out here just like trying to knock them down on.
I don't believe every man is trying to. I know a lot of disciplined men.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But I think that a lot of men are looking for themselves in the people that they lay down with, and so a lot of times without vetting a woman that they lay down with, it doesn't give enough. Like if we're just being carnal and moving off, oh, she bad, she this, that, and third. A lot of times we don't give opportunity to know, like, really if this woman is going to be conducive for our future. Agreed. So a lot of times, like, I think that it would behoove most men to vet women
just a little harder,
just a little bit more,
because there are some bad ones out there.
Yeah, and like, let's be honest, like, if you're a good-looking dude, you got money, you got this, that, and third, like, what Chris Rock said, like, a man is only as faithful as his options. And
you're right.
And so a lot of times when you have things going for yourself that are attractive, and you're a provider, and you make your own money, and this, that, and the third, like, you have more options than a guy that doesn't.
That's when discipline comes in.
Absolutely. So I guess at the end of the day, I'm just saying, like everybody needs to be responsible who they lay down with and what they choose
I love that.
In laying down, because like you said earlier, if I decide to sleep with a woman, I need to be able to cultivate the possibility of a life coming. And if I can't, if I'm talking to a woman, or if I have sex with a woman, and I can't, and I think about, like, she's saying I'm late.
Child.
If I can't handle her saying I'm late, and I'm not talking about on a date.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that period.
Yeah.
If I can't handle this woman saying that I'm late, then I probably need to put my dick up.
You probably should reevaluate just until you can imagine it. And I'm not saying that
absolutely.
That might not even take long. It just means that you need to invest a little bit more time into your own future, possibly.
Right.
And I know that it might seem like I'm not hard on women. The reason why I am less hard on women is because if she gets pregnant and has that baby, she already got it hard. There's nothing else that I need to say. She a single mom for a man that may or may not be there. But either way, she got to raise that baby. And she deals with that consequence every day.
Depending on her age, you got to look at, like, what kind of job you got. Are you 18 and got pregnant? You 21 and got pregnant? You ain't even out of college yet and you got pregnant? You no career
yet. So that means your life is about to take so many drastic turns. She's gonna go through the ringer already, so I don't need to pile on her no more. That's just kind of like how I feel about it. Not trying to be unfair, but she will immediately deal with the consequences of her actions.
So it goes back to what I was saying earlier. You know what we just did? We did the very thing I said. If we see people going off a ledge, this right here, hopefully, we'll reach somebody and say, okay, I need to focus on budgeting. I need to focus on wealth building. I need to focus on getting a multi-unit
But we want to fuck, though. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know that sounds stupid, but is it not true?
It's so
I know
true.
that we should be focusing on those things, right?
Yeah. But
we at the club right now. What time is it right now? What time is it right now?
It is 7:17.
It's 7:17 right now. It's women and men getting ready to hit the club tonight.
That's for
they
sure.
pre-gaming right now.
Right now.
Some of them is gonna be in Hollywood, West Hollywood, Malibu. Do you think they're checking with their financial advisor?
Oh, they're already popping on the East Coast. It's 10, 17.
It's 10 something. They out. They're
10,
not
17.
checking with their financial advisors. They're not. They don't have them. They are not considering those things. We fucking right now,
Right.
and we hoping that the hoe don't get pregnant, and the hoe is hoping she don't get pregnant. That is what I'm saying. We need to work on as a culture. And it's not going to happen if we are consistently blaming each other. And I feel like we can stop blaming each other as soon as men start taking more accountability for their bodies their seed. It's your seed.
Ooh.
And your lack of discipline.
Cast not your
Seed.
pearls upon the swine.
But we watch you give your seed away so effortlessly.
Come on, man.
These is your kids, this is your namesake, and you don't have no control. What's gonna happen? Like we are not teaching our sons that what is between their legs is valuable. We saying it to our daughters, we just not saying it to our sons. What's between your legs is valuable. It's precious. Everybody can't have it. You shouldn't just go giving it to everybody because it's special. You just releasing nuts and nuts and nuts. By the time you 40 or 50 years old, man, your dick barely get hard. Like it's taking a little longer for your mans to get up now. And it don't even get like this no more. It be like, you doing too much. Nobody is telling these niggas that the reason why you getting cheated on in your 40s and 50s is because women are coming into their prime. Maybe they're after menopause, so now they really want to fuck. And we can't even count on our man to keep his dick hard for 10 minutes because he was too busy being community peen 10 years ago. Like,
let me tell you something, man. All you got to do is fast for 30 days.
Yeah, that'll reset you.
Fast for 30 days. Hold that nut in.
I'm just saying, y'all, or just understand that your nut is special. Your nut, that your dick is special.
Retention.
Like, it's special. Like, don't just put it in every mouth. Like, fuck. That's all.
Don't waste it.
Don't waste it.
Yeah.
If you know you got some good dick, keep it. Because your wife gonna want it.
Hey.
You gonna want to give it to her right because it's good. Don't waste it on other wayward whatever on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Because the next Saturday night, she gonna give it to somebody else.
Because keep in mind, you really do hate it when women pull a you on you, and I promise you, this generation that's coming up, it's a lot of yous.
Oh my goodness.
It's a lot of women that are used.
They say ain't nothing in these streets but chlamydia and lemon pepper wings.
Extra seasoned, fried hard.
Hey, so look, all right, so we have the mindfulness facilitator, MEANNA. You know, I want to give her a round of applause for coming on the At-Hole.
Thank you for having me, man. This is so fun.
You're welcome, man.
We should get a gang of people, huh?
I hope so. You know, we're looking for the At-Hole to do different things, man. And one of the main things I want to do is I want this to be the first traveling podcast where I go around the world, kind of like Anthony Bourdain and Nicolas Cage, unsolving like mysteries and deep educational things that was lost and all the things, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So y'all stay tuned in with the Ant-Hole where we dig deep, and I want MEANNA to give her Instagram handle and tell a little bit more about herself, and you know we're gonna wrap this thing up.
So I'm MEANNA DK everywhere. MEANNADK.com is my website.
How you spell MEANNA DK?
MEANNADK.com. Same for my socials. And you can catch my meditation channel, Graceful Meditations, 2 L's in Graceful.
Okay.
But yeah, man, follow me. Engage in some conversation, man. Thank y'all. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Thank you for
so much fun.
Thank you for coming. Give me a hug.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. So until next time, maybe we could do this again.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Whenever.
And maybe we'll get your friends on next time too.
Okay.
Try to be bashful this
you
time.
You can't. You got to give people 48 business hours sometimes to get prepared for new things.
For sure. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on here. I appreciate you very much, and this is very stimulating. And hopefully, this reach somebody and let us know our value.
Absolutely.
That's probably gonna be the name of the topic.
Okay. Our value.
Our value.
You have plenty of it.
Thank you, guys.
That was fun.
Indeed.
It's the Ant-Hole, baby.
Thank you for digging deep with the Ant-Hole. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and keep it digging. Bye.